Good morning, and welcome to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. I trust that you are doing fabulous where you are this glorious day. It is June the 16th, and got some things to talk about. You know, although it's funny, we always have some things to talk about. You know what? I told you guys a story about the head of Blog Talk Radio after Barack Obama won the election. He was sure that conservatives and conservative radio would, especially on here on the internet, would go away because we would have nothing to talk about. Because of course Barack Obama was going to be perfect, and what we were going to be able to criticize Barack Obama about. Yeah, it was funny. The person who was the Let's see here. Let me go ahead and get rid of that. The person who was our managing editor at the time basically said this, and it became prophecy that the election of Barack Obama would be good for business, for us, and it was. It was good for business, and it set most of us on a career path in this industry. People like Kevin Jackson set us on a career path. Although there had been people out there already like Larry Elder. Larry Elder became a media force that he wasn't before because of the election of Barack Obama. There are a number of us, C.L. Bryant and K. Carl Smith and Shirley Huzar and a bunch of us out there that, thanks to the election of Barack Obama, became successful in this industry. So, you never know how it's going to work out, do you? Sometimes you do, but most times you just never know how it's going to work out. Alrighty. So we're going to talk about fireworks today. I think her name is Name, right? Noem is pronounced Name. I want to talk about, what's her face? Taylor Greene was supposed to be censured for her remarks comparing the wearing of masks in the House, in the House chambers to the Holocaust. Well, that's not going to happen. Good for her. And some parents sent here in Florida sent their children's masks off to be analyzed, and I'm going to tell you about some of the stuff that came back that was stuck up near these children's faces. But before we get to that, I want to talk about a little bit about the Senate passed a bill. I'm just going to go ahead and get started before the break because I wanted to get to this. The Senate passed a bill that recognizes Juneteenth as a federal holiday. Now, there's going to be a lot of people still. I don't know how you missed this. But you're going, especially some of you Republicans and conservatives, you're going to get this terribly, horrifically, mind-shatteringly wrong. You're going to get it wrong. So please close your mouth for a second. Just close your mouth. Don't talk. Just listen. Take notes if you have to. Juneteenth is going to be recognized as a federal holiday. Yeah, okay. I don't know, frankly, if the United States needs another federal holiday. I don't know. But I think that if that the United States is going to have a federal holiday, I think it's okay that federal holiday be something that celebrates the end of slavery in the United States. Now, we've expanded what Juneteenth actually was. Juneteenth has to do with the Emancipation Proclamation, no doubt. But let me help you. Before you get started and you get on Facebook and you get on Twitter and you say dumbass things, let me help you. Juneteenth is celebrated annually on June 19th, which is in 3 days. I'm sorry. And it's already recognized as a holiday in 45 states. It commemorates the end of slavery in Confederate states, which occurred on June 19th, 1865, after Texas slaves learned of their freedom. 2.5 years. 2.5 years. I don't know. Maybe they had AOL in Texas on dial-up. 2.5 years after President Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves on January 1st, 1863. 2 years through the Emancipation Proclamation. That's when, and so that's the celebration. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to expand Juneteenth to be celebratory of the end of slavery in the United States. That's what we're going to do. Now, know that the first Republican president was the person, with the help of people like Frederick Douglass, made this happen. So instead of just saying no and attaching Juneteenth to Black Lives Matter or any of those other groups, where it's not, it isn't. Juneteenth is more attached to the Republican Party than attached to anything else. Juneteenth should be a Republican holiday and should be a holiday in every red state in America, and should have been for years, and should have been for years. If we're going to say we're the party of Lincoln, if we're going to say all this stuff, if we're going to say that one of our core values as Republicans and conservatives is respecting people's personal dignity, there isn't any reason not to embrace Juneteenth. Again, I don't know if the United States needs another another federal holiday where federal employees get the day off and get paid. Federal employees get that day off, and to the tune of $600 million of taxpayer money. I don't know if we need one of those, but it is. If we're going to have another federal holiday, it needed to be Juneteenth. Now, please don't think that the radicals in the Democrat Party came up with this. What's interesting is that there have been forces, black, conservative, Republican forces even, that have been out there for years trying to make this happen. And frankly, it was on the precipice of happening anyway. It was probably going to happen if Trump got elected. Probably, I'm just saying that. But I believe that it probably would have happened. But it's happened. So please understand what this is all about. Please be smart enough and intelligent enough to embrace what Juneteenth is really all about and who's responsible for Juneteenth. Please don't push back just because right now Joe Biden is going to sign this. This is going to the House, and the House is going to sign, and the House is going to, and should, every freaking Republican should sign this bill. Now, the important part is to make sure that there aren't any dangerous riders to the bill, obviously, and that Republicans should say this is the example of what should be the purest one-topic bill in the history of pure one-topic bills. There shouldn't be anything attached to this at all. There should be no amendments. This should be the cleanest thing ever because of its importance in and of itself. And that needs to be as conservatives are listening around the country and around the world and in a lot of places. I did the analytics. I watched and God, there's a bunch of y'all from flipping everywhere, and I am thrilled and appreciate it and just honored where so many people are listening from. But this is, again, I want to make sure that you guys understand what this is. Here's some of the countries that are listening to this program. people in Russia and Germany and Canada and India and Italy and New Zealand and Denmark and Burkina Faso and the Philippines, Brazil, Switzerland, Czechos, and the United Kingdom. Just first of all over the world. And in states like, of course, here in Florida and New Mexico and California and Virginia and Ohio and Michigan and North and South Carolina, Illinois, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Louisiana, Arizona, Texas, and New York. People from all over the country. Here in my home state, Tampa leads the way with Palm Harbor, Chiefland, and Spring Hill. Thanks, folks. Let's spread the word about this, about what Juneteenth is all about. We're going to talk more about it this week here on this program. And there is an event here in Tampa. If you guys are, my Tampa, my Tampa peeps, actually my Florida peeps. There's a event here, and actually there's two events. Both of them are in St. Petersburg, and so you really want to tune in. You want to learn about what Juneteenth is, and trust me, you want to embrace it. You want to embrace it. You want to take it over. Republicans should have owned this thing in the first place. So that's what's coming up. Okay, we're going to take a little break. We'll be back with more of the Morning Report right after these messages. Bloomingdale's Flower Shop is the premier florist in Tampa, offering flower delivery from Brandon to Lutz. Originally opened in 1986, Bloomingdale's Flower Shop has grown to be the florist in Tampa that customers trust most. Our family-owned local flower shop produces flower arrangements with superior design. And we're best known for our same-day flower delivery as well as the selection of special bouquets we've been crafting with love for 30 years. Our main flower shop is in Tampa, located at 11618 North Florida Avenue. Our secondary flower shop is in Newport Richey at 6835 State Road 54. If you want flower delivery in Tampa, give us a call at 813-933-1942 or 800-330-3297. Whether you're seeking your next adventure or simply want to reinvent the weekend getaway, Icon makes flying more exciting and more accessible than ever before. Prepare to redefine everything you thought you knew about aviation. Whether flying is something you already do or something you've always dreamt of doing but thought was out of reach, Icon's flight training courses are intended to show you how to get the most from the A5 in this unique operating environment. If you are interested in more information, please send me an email at iconA5info@gmail.com. That's iconA5info@gmail.com. SwansonReport.net. The SwansonReport.net. The SwansonReport.net. A website that is dipped in truth and rolled in cogent conservative thought. Ready to challenge the mainstream media narrative with ease and aplomb. The SwansonReport.net. The SwansonReport.net.
A conservative who seeks truth over the conventional statist wisdom, coming to you from the southern headquarters of FightbackMedia.com, your host, Willie Lawson.
All righty, we appreciate you being there. All right, let's get with it today. Now, we're going to be talking about Juneteenth all week long, so I'm going to help you. Let me help you along in your Juneteenth battle with your learning about Juneteenth, seeking out information about what Juneteenth is actually all about. All right. One of the things, I've said forever, and I mentioned to my friends and my family, when we start talking about Democrats and the left is it is the hypocrisy that makes us the most angry. It would be one thing if there was just disagreement. If there was, I think Y and you think X, that would be different, right? But it's the hypocrisy that makes us crazy. So, after state and local officials were informed Tuesday that the White House plans to host a 4th of July celebration, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem criticized President Joe Biden for his hypocrisy as the administration previously denied her permit request for a Mount Rushmore fireworks display. First responders, essential workers, which I guess people at Publix or people at the grocery stores, because all of them were essential, right? Pastors, ministers, priests were not essential. But grocery store people and FedEx drivers were essential workers. And military service members are invited to the White House festivities that will feature a cookout and fireworks, according to Fox News, which Noem argues goes against the rules placed on South Dakota. So she tweets, "Rules for thee, but not for me, a longtime favorite from the Democratic playbook. Joe Biden, why are you being so hypocritical? You're having your own personal fireworks show in D.C., but South Dakotans are told no." Noem's case to hold fireworks at the National Memorial was initially rejected by the Biden administration in March and was upheld by a judge earlier this month following a lawsuit. However, Biden's administration did say in their emails to officials that they welcome a summer of reunions and celebrations across the nation. "We welcome you to join us by hosting your own events in honor of freedom. Salute those that have been serving on the front lines and celebrate our progress in fighting this pandemic," the president said. The announcement signals a change in tone from Biden in his remarks on March 11th, indicated that a large Independence Day gatherings would not be permitted. Here's what he said earlier. By July the 4th, there's a good chance that your families and friends would be able to get together in your backyard or in your neighborhood and have a cookout and 1 or 2 hot dogs and barbecue and maybe get in the pool. And when I got in the pool, if I have some really hairy legs, and that doesn't mean large events with lots of people together, but it does mean small groups will be able to get together. So he said that maybe. There's a good chance, maybe, that 4 or 5 of y'all could get together in your backyard for a small cookout. Really? Yeah. However, restrictions surrounding celebrations at Mount Rushmore still remain in place. In 2020, during early months of the pandemic, fireworks were permitted by the Trump administration to be displayed at Mount Rushmore on the 4th of July. Updated guidance from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention says that vaccinated individuals do not need to wear face coverings in most settings, and relaxed COVID-19 restrictions in several states allowed fireworks and festivities to occur during Memorial Day weekend. Biden's goal of 70% of Americans being vaccinated by Independence Day is not expected to be met. We're never going to get to 70%. Although there'll be one person that in your group of 50 friends who have not taken the jab, we're never going to get to 70%. They gave you a number so to make sure that we never make it. Because it's the hypocrisy that's the worst thing. It is the rules for thee, but not for me attitude about the left. Now, we're only pointing this out because it sucks. Nobody from the Democrat Party or nobody from the left, especially the radical left, is going to go, "Oh, golly, you're right. That's not right," and have a Paul on the road to Damascus moment, and just go, "Oh, yeah, we shouldn't be hypocrites." Where they're at now is, yeah, that's hypocritical. Yeah, what are you gonna do about it? Sucks to be out of power. What are you gonna do about it? We're gonna do that for you. Now, I guess what they should do is just freaking have fireworks. I don't know what will be the repercussions, but they should just have the damn fireworks. Because and I know If that were Florida, we'd be having them. Now, speaking of fireworks, where I live right down the street from a local theme park. That they are in their summer nights portion of the year. There are fireworks at 9:15 every night. There are fireworks at 9:15 every night. And in 26 days, I believe, no, this weekend, fireworks are going to resume at Walt Disney World, Florida. Fireworks are going to resume. And during the summer, they had fireworks at Walt Disney. If you've been to Walt Disney World, they have, I don't know. But I understand, but I'm thinking they must spend $500,000 every night on fireworks. The Disney fireworks extravaganza is holy Jesus. But they're starting back. Because it's Florida. Because that's how we do. That's how we roll. Governor Name, you have your example. Spark off the fireworks, hon. Let's see what happens. What are they going to do to you? They can't throw all of you in jail. They can't. Let's see some fireworks at Mount Rushmore. You had them last year. Things are supposedly better. We can have them this year. Let's do it, hon. All right, we're going to get a little break, and we'll be back with more of the morning report right after these messages. Bloomingdale's Flower Shop is the premier florist in Tampa, offering flower delivery from Brandon to Lutz. Originally opened in 1986, Bloomingdale's Flower Shop has grown to be the florist in Tampa that customers trust most. Our family-owned local flower shop produces flower arrangements with superior design. And we're best known for our same-day flower delivery as well as the selection of special bouquets we've been crafting with love for 30 years. Our main flower shop is in Tampa, located at 11618 North Florida Avenue. Our secondary flower shop is in Newport Richey at 6835 State Road 54. If you want flower delivery in Tampa, give us a call at 813-933-1942 or 800-330-3297. Whether you're seeking your next adventure or simply want to reinvent the weekend getaway, Icon makes flying more exciting and more accessible than ever before. Prepare to redefine everything you thought you knew about aviation. Whether flying is something you already do or something you've always dreamt of doing but thought was out of reach, Icon's flight training courses are intended to show you how to get the most from the A5 in this unique operating environment. If you are interested in more information, please send me an email at iconA5info@gmail.com. That's iconA5info@gmail.com. SwansonReport.net. TheSwansonReport.net. TheSwansonReport.net. A website that is dipped in truth and rolled in cogent conservative thought. Ready to challenge the mainstream media narrative with ease and aplomb. TheSwansonReport.net. TheSwansonReport.net.
A conservative who seeks truth over the conventional statist wisdom, coming to you from the southern headquarters of FightbackMedia.com, your host, Willie Lawson.
All right, sometimes people say stupid stuff, and sometimes we have people who are in, positions of power who say really stupid stuff. One of the things that I love about Ben Shapiro is that he pretty much nailed Trump. Really had a really good understanding. He said sometimes Trump is a hammer. Sometimes he hits a nail. Sometimes he hits a baby. Yeah. And what's her name? Marjorie Taylor Greene. Although I don't think her hammer is as big or useful, but I think that sometimes she's taking that on. Sometimes she hits a nail, sometimes she hits a baby. But Representative Brad Schneider, who's a Democrat from Illinois, said Tuesday that he will not introduce legislation to censure Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican out of Georgia, after she issued an apology for comparing the mask mandate in the House of Representatives to the Holocaust. Stop. Schneider, a Jewish man, admitted he was pleasantly surprised to see that Greene visited the Holocaust Museum Monday and made a public apology after being enlightened on the genocide of 6 million Jewish people. On the genocide of 6 million Jewish people. Well, I don't really think that she needed that she didn't know. It's just sometimes these people get caught up and say stupid stuff. Sometimes they're just an asshole. Here's what she said. I appreciate that after her, this is what the representative who is not going to issue or start this censure process. I appreciate that after her visit, that she understood the harm of her comparison and offered an apology. In light of her apology, I am electing not to go forward at this time with introducing a resolution of censure. Okay, I don't think it hurt anybody. It was just dumb. It was horrifically insensitive. It was dumb. It was a ridiculous comparison. It was maybe a hurtful sentiment. So Greene acknowledged this hurtful sentiment in her previous comments and held, and upon being properly informed about the Holocaust during her visit in the museum, wanted to own up to her mistake and apologize. And she said, there is no comparison to the Holocaust, and there should never be. Greene drew criticism last month after she said on Real America's Voice in May that the mask mandate imposed by the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, the Ice Princess, the Wrinkle Queen, in the House after the Center for Disease Control Prevention updated its guidance was symbolic of the treatment of Jewish people during the Holocaust. No, it wasn't. It was awful. And it was terrible. And it's political theater. But comparing it to the Holocaust is foolish. And we do this in this culture every time that we have something that we don't like or disagree with. We compare it, and we compare it to the Holocaust, the worst thing in modern times that people have done to one another. And we compare everybody we don't like to Hitler, one of the worst human beings who ever walked the planet, or in modern times anyway. Because there have been people who have killed more people, but all we know is Hitler. Hitler is the worst person in modern times. So everybody we don't like, we compare to Hitler. Everybody we don't like, we say are Nazis. Everything we don't like, we compare to these events. Stop it. Here's what Nancy Pelosi said. This woman is mentally ill. You know that we can look back at a time in history where people were told to wear a gold star and they were definitely treated like second-class citizens. This is what Greene said. So much so that they were put in trains and taken to gas chambers in Nazi Germany. And this is exactly the type of abuse that Nancy Pelosi is talking about. No, she's not. This is talk about the political theater and how this doesn't follow the science. Stick to the facts. Stay away from the dumbass analogies. The mask mandate in the House for vaccinated individuals was lifted as of Friday after the Capitol physician updated their guidelines. Why? Well, because there was pressure then. Let's stay away from the ridiculous comparisons, because that doesn't do anything but hurt our cause. It doesn't help us go forward to act crazy. I did a piece a long time ago called "We Need to Attenuate the Crazy." Stick to the facts. If it's going to be about science, let's talk about science. As a matter of fact, let's talk about science. A group of parents sent their kids' face masks to a lab for analysis. Here's what they found. This is great. I hope you have breakfast eaten already. We've been told for over a year that widespread forced public masking should be implemented because even if it only moderately to slightly to negligibly effective at curbing the spread of COVID-19, there are zero drawbacks. What's the harm? It's only a minor inconvenience, they bleat. We always hear that. It's not that hard wearing your mask. If it saves just one life, it's worth it. No, it's not. We don't do that for anything else. If it just saves one life, we don't do that for anything else. Let's ban cars because somebody tonight lost their life. Somebody last night lost their life in a car accident, in a car crash. So if we ban cars, no matter how inconvenient it is, it'll be worth it because it saves one life. There you go. Let's ban sugar because somebody had diabetes and they died. If we ban sugar, it'll change our lives drastically, but it's okay because if it saves just one life. We don't do that for anything. That is not a proper measurement for societal behavior. So meanwhile, we here on Team Reality not only have continued to point to the real world data that shows masking to be entirely ineffective. We've also maintained that forced public masking, especially long term, has negative societal and even health ramifications that the powers that be are all too happy to ignore in subservience to their newfound face mask god. It only stands to reason that one of those health ramifications will be the fact that millions of people, particularly children, have been forced to wear masks and carry around pieces of cloth they've continually breathed through for hours on end. What lurking pathogens may be found in these disgusting contraptions being incessantly handled, stuck in pockets, and mindlessly tossed in books, tables, and desks? Well, one group of Florida parents, sent a batch of masks worn by their children to a lab to find out. And yeah, you probably need to make sure you aren't eating breakfast or lunch or anything. Here we go. This is from the Rational Ground. Gainesville, June 16th, that was yesterday. A group of parents in Gainesville, Florida, concerned about potential harms from masks, submitted 6 face masks to a lab for analysis. Excuse me. The resulting report found that 5 masks were contaminated with bacteria, parasites, fungi, including 3 with dangerous pathogens and pneumonia-causing bacteria. No viruses were detected on the mask, although the test is capable of detecting viruses. Some of these names I'm just going to not pronounce, but there were pathogens on the mask for pneumonia, tuberculosis, meningitis, sepsis, keratitis, encephalitis, pneumonia, bloodstream infections, meningitis, UTIs that are resistant to antibiotics, E. coli, Lyme disease, Legionnaire's disease, Staphylococcus, severe infections, high morbidity rates, meningitis, sepsis. Half of the masks were contaminated with one or more strains of pneumonia-causing bacteria. 1/3 were contaminated with one or more strains of meningitis-causing bacteria. 1/3 were contaminated with dangerous antibiotic-resistant bacterial pathogens. In addition, less dangerous pathogens were identified, including pathogens that can cause fever, ulcers, acne, yeast infections, strep throat, periodontal disease, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and more. The masks were studied were new or freshly laundered before wearing and had been worn for 5 to 8 hours, mostly during in-person schooling by children ages 6 through 11. One was worn by an adult. Now, a T-shirt worn by one of the children at the school and an unworn mask were tested as controls. No pathogens were found on the controls. Proteins found on the T-shirt, for example, are not pathogens to humans and are commonly found in hair, skin, and soil. A parent who participated in the study, Ms. Amanda Donahoe, commented that this small sample points to a need for more research. We need to know what we are putting on the faces of our children each day. Masks provide a warm, moist environment for bacteria to grow. These local parents contracted with the lab because they were concerned about the potential contaminants on masks that their children were forced to wear all day at school, taking them on and off, setting them on various surfaces, wearing them in the bathroom, etc. They prompted them to send the masks to the University of Florida's Mass Spectrometry Research and Education Center for analysis. Goodness gracious, folks. I know. Follow the science. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. We're following the science. All right, we got to get out of here and make it for somebody else. So, again, we're going to be talking more about Juneteenth here and on the Fight Back Media TV channel. So you please make sure that you come to the discussions about Juneteenth this weekend. And you may even want to attend an event. What? Yes, there are going to be events everywhere. Let's do this. All right, before we get out, we need to get out of here. So until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody. And for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We will see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.